You ever wondered where your feelings come from? You ever wondered why you feel a certain way when you do feel a certain way? You ever wondered what that means? How do I deal with that? There are so many courses out there and things that are sort of designed to help you manage your feelings, manage your thinking, manage the way that you react and interact with life. And there's some validity in some of the things they're saying, but it's that thing. I think the key issue that often gets missed is that actually, if you were to observe it, your thinking is actually where your feelings are coming from. The focus that you're placing in your mind on the thoughts that you're having in your mind is the place where your feelings are coming from. And that you can check this out for yourself, because I can't always say to you, here's a piece of research to back this one up, but just observe what's going on. If you think a certain way, what happens? If your thoughts in your head are saying something, your emotions tend to follow. Say you've got a thought pops into your head about something that happened to you a number of years ago. Now that thing isn't happening anymore. It stopped happening a long time ago. It may have been completely unjustified. It may have been an awful thing that's happened, whatever it might be. But it isn't happening anymore. And yet when you're thinking about that thing that isn't happening anymore, do you notice that you get feelings appearing in your body physiologically, that things start to shift and change in your body? That sense of anger, that sense of injustice, that sense of sadness, that sense of joy even appear. Because when we think about something that we laughed at or that was a wonderful experience, we tend to get those feelings again, those feelings of expression of wonder, of joy, of laughter, of just warmth even. And when we're thinking about the things that aren't nice, that we feel were wrong or were hurtful in whatever way and shape and form they were, we get those feelings again. You just observe it in yourself and see if that's true for you. It's an interesting thing to look at, because if we recognize that, and we recognize that we have about 52,000 thoughts a day, most of them completely innocuous and useless, and a large proportion of them based on only limited information, because that's how our memories work, in the sense that we know that there's only limited information coming from us that's available to us to form these memories, form these concepts, form these ideas and pictures of what actually happened. And yet we have these thoughts in relation to those things, some of which may or may not be true, that are creating these experiences for us. It's an interesting thing. Give it a go. See how it feels for you. Whether I'm true, you might think you're talking rubbish. You might think you've lost the plot, Jez. But ultimately, have a look. See what's happening. When I think of a certain thing, do I get an experience inside of me that's reflective of that thought, of that experience I'm thinking about? Or does that not happen for you? Have a look and see, because there's a belief that, in essence, our emotions are a reflection of our thoughts. And there's an interesting other thing to add to that. If you actually ever think about when you've been thinking of something and experiencing those old emotions, whether that's sadness, anger, whatever it might be, and then suddenly somebody's come in and started to talk to you about something else, and you could say you've been distracted, but what actually has happened is your thinking and focus has gone somewhere else. What's then happened? You've had a completely different physiological experience. It's an interesting thing to ponder, so you give that a go.